Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
The concession agreement relating to the development of the Hambantota Port through a public-private partnership came into effect today.
A special event was held at the Parliamentary Complex this morning under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to mark the occasion. This marks the operationalization of the agreement signed between the Sri Lanka Ports Authority and China Merchant Port Holdings on the 29th of July. The Hambantota International Port Group and the Hambantota International Port Services Company, which are companies established under the Concession Agreement, officially took over operations of the Hambantota Port today. The first installment, which is 30% of the investment value, was officially handed over by the China Merchants Group.
The Hambantota Port adds on to our concept of Sri Lanka, the hub of the Indian Ocean. One port on the western side, Colombo, one port on the southern side, Hambantota, one port on the eastern side, Trincomalee. This port is also linked to the objective of One Belt, One Road, which have been proposed by President Xi. The Maritime Silk Road, the modern Maritime Silk Road. 2016, the discussions we had with President Xi, and again in 2017, we were able to arrive at agreements for the development of the port and also the development of the hinterland. The new addition to the port, we will also be having industrial estates, a large number of industrial estates for which land is being identified. A new organization, the Ruhuna Economic Development Corporation, is being established to see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of factories coming in. But it means infrastructure development. Already discussions are underway on a oil refinery, on a LNG plant, on a dockyard, on a cement plant, on a steel billet plant, among others. So we can see the revival of the economy of Ruhuna.
And also our vision is to grow with Sri Lanka as a whole, as a partner. Our sustainable development vision is realizing long-term partnership, just like a PPP project in Newcastle Port of Australia. Hambantota Port is the second port which we devote ourselves for a century time, 100 years, to cooperate with you. And I have no doubt that this project will provide significant employment opportunities, especially to the natives of Hambantota and those residing in nearby towns.
The total investment being made by the Chinese for the Hambantota Port adds up to $1.12 billion. 30% of the investment value comes up to $330 million. However, only $292 million was handed over today. When News First inquired into the matter, the Ministry of Ports and Shipping stated that $974 million of the total investment will be the loan repayment for the Hambantota Port, while $146 million is entering the country as a direct investment. The ministry noted that 30% of $974 million was handed in by the Chinese company today. However, there were numerous views that were expressed in various political forums on how the Hambantota Port deal would strengthen the economy. Let's use the failing port to help everyone stand up. We were deep in trouble because we were finding it difficult to pay back our debts and because the economy was failing. The mother and the son were both on life support. We need at least $1 billion to keep our head above the water. If we give up 80%, we will be able to bring in $1.1 billion, and this will reduce the burden on us. We will be getting over 1,100 million by handing over Hambantota to a Chinese company in installments. When the company takes over, these will be an increase in naval traffic, and we will be getting a share of these profits as well.
We are going to sign the Hambantota Port deal. We are going to go with it. We have negotiated, and we have negotiated hard. We are going to basically reap maybe $1.1 billion, maybe $400 billion of that just in this year. I do not agree with the investments in Hambantota. I think they were big mistakes and we should not forget it. But the real question is, what do you make out of a mistake that has already been made? We need to make sure that we are able to get the maximum out of those buried investments.
When the
Hambantota Port was being leased, the government said that they received 1,400 million. However, they have only received 294 million. Where is the remaining money? They are yet to receive it. This is a scam. The country has suffered a loss. The Prime Minister kept the check on his shoulders and showcased it very proudly. He boasted that they are going to receive 1,400 million.
Well, the proposal on the concession of the Hambantota Port was debated in Parliament yesterday. The motion was passed in Parliament yesterday with a majority of votes. There were only 7 votes that were cast against this motion, and that was by the JVP.
If this is a new investment, then there should be a new product as well. There is nothing new in these 2 gazettes. These gazettes have only slapped a price tag on the existing port. The Strategic Development Projects Act has provisions to grant tax breaks for new investments. This is not a new investment if there are tax concessions in this price tag of $1,400 million. If there is a clause regarding a tax concession in the agreement, then we should raise the estimated price. These moves grant tax concessions for companies. Are you here representing companies? Are you here to act as brokers for companies? Are you agents of various companies? We believe that they are supposed to be the representatives of the public. However, your actions prove that you are agents of companies and not representatives of the public. That is why you impose taxes on the public and grant concessions on companies. It has come to a point where the country is being run by the agents of various companies. This is not the only thing. We are handing over a great deal of land as well. 400 acres of the port lands and a further 2,998 acres of land adjacent to these lands are being given away. We are handing over port services. We have imposed regulations on ourselves which restrict us from doing anything with regard to the Hambantota harbour. Can you call yourselves public representatives? We feel that you are agents of companies.
Members of the joint opposition who did not vote for this proposal spoke up in Parliament today and expressed their opposition against the vote itself.
We agreed with the government. We agreed with you that we will have this debate. However, the debate was taken up well before the allocated time. This resulted in a disruption of our activities. Our members didn't get the chance to attend the vote. Mr. Speaker, this is a violation of standing orders and traditions.
We always schedule the adjournment for 6:30 p.m. But if we finish work early, then we have the adjournment before the scheduled time. Yesterday was a Parliament day. They should have been in Parliament. They go around everywhere in the morning and turn up here at 7:30.
Mr. Speaker, this is the legislature. You give us a time to pass a certain legislation, and then if you pass it beforehand, it is illegal.
They were here, but they didn't vote. MPs Dinesh, Bandula and Vasu did not vote.
We didn't roam around. We were given a time and it was 7:30. As an MP, I did not get a chance to vote. The leader of the house is saying we are roaming from morning. Are you telling us to sleep here from 6 a.m.?
The agreement reached at the party leaders' meeting was to have the debate from 7:30 to 9:30. Later I got to know that the final scheduled speech was made, and based on the consensus of the House, a decision was reached to bring this forward. The vote began at 7:42. This was done with the consent of the House. These are people who slept in Parliament. These are people who stole jewelry as well. They didn't have the motivation to do it for this. What they are trying to do is to show the country that they are against the Chinese.
Can you tell me what kind of income you are expecting from this? The port won't have to pay any taxes for a number of decades. These are the concessions that you have granted. This gazette was issued by Minister Malik Samaravikrama. I believe that the Minister of Finance has also signed off on it. The Minister of Finance should present us the details of the tax revenue we will receive from this port.